Welcome to Africa Diaspora News Channel family. My name is Lynient Akotonou making this report. For the first time in history family, the US was boldly termed a security threat. The US was potentially named a security risk during the Denmark's annual threat assessment. The US was explicitly potentially named a security risk during Denmark's annual threat assessment. Let's watch this video.
They say that Denmark was there 300 years ago or something with a boat. Well, we were there with boats too, I'm sure. And we need it for national protection. We need Greenland for national protection. They have a very small population. And I don't know, they say Denmark, but Denmark has spent no money. They have no military protection. They say that Denmark was there 300 years ago or something with a boat. Well, we were there with boats too, I'm sure. So we'll have to work it all out. We need Greenland for national security. Not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it.
Well, family, the US and Denmark have a long, close, and mutually beneficial relationship. Relationship built on strong defense ties as NATO allies, shared values, trademarks. Actually, US is Denmark's largest non-European partner. So you know what that meant. Their relationship is a deep one. They have a very close relationship. But recently, Denmark came out to say that the US is a potential threat, a security threat. And why is that? Let's check it out. Family, worthy of note is the fact that this is the first time the US would be explicitly named a potential security risk. And then at Denmark. And family, Denmark is located in Northern Europe, positioned south of Norway and southeast of Sweden, with a land border to Germany. Some of the reasons why they actually named the US a security risk is economic and military cohesion. The Danish Defense Intelligence Service, DDIS, noted that the US is using economic power like tariffs and not ruling out military force, even against allies to enforce its will. So it's a known fact that from time to time, the US goes to certain zones to impose sanctions and tariffs. That's what they do. They enforce their will through the sanctions. If you don't do what they ask you to do, I mean, we've seen this play out in other African countries. Another reason is interest in Greenland. Now, the US interest in Greenland is a Danish territory, right? And now US is showing interest in that land. The US wants this land and Denmark doesn't want to give it out. And past suggestions of acquisition heighten tensions, signaling a willingness to challenge existing relationships. Now, the US interest in Greenland family stems from its strategic Arctic location. Thus, Greenland has a strategic location critical for military surveillance and has vast mineral and energy resources, rare earth, oil, and gas, becoming accessible with melting ice, all vital for countering China, Russia, expanding US. So the US wants this, but Denmark is saying no. Now, there is a pivot towards hemispheric security, and the Pacific creates doubts about America's long-term commitment to European stability, leaving Denmark potentially more vulnerable. And the US prioritizing its immediate region raises concerns about reduced forces on border Arctic stability. So family, Denmark has weighed the pros and cons, and they arrived at the fact that the US is a security threat. See that US wants to go for their Greenland, and they are not ready to give it out because they said, according to them, it is not in favor of them, owing to the fact that the US in recent times have done so many things that have the people questioning if they really have the people in mind, have them, the Denmark people, the Danish people in mind, or they're out for their own selves. And yes, this is where we are. And Denmark has openly, for the first time in history, named US as a security threat. So family, what do you have to say about this? Now the role is switched. US usually does the naming. Don't travel to this area, it is banned, it is this, it is that. But right now, Denmark has done this. But will this really have any impact on the US? Does this affect the US in any way? Comment your thoughts and do not forget to share, like, subscribe. and turn on your notification button. My name is